Chem Dog and Sour Diesel raised the bar and brought awareness to the public that, you know, that there is something better out there, you know.
I would say that maybe 75 to 80% of the strains out there today are spawned off of the Chem Dog 91. A lot of other strains out there have the Chem Dog in it nowadays. It was one of the first, you know, it's like the pioneer of the beginning of the whole movement of kind bud movement. I started smoking weed in 89, 88. So in Massachusetts, it was kind of hard to find herb. It wasn't like, you know, a lot of it was just that brickweed shit back, you know. Hi guys, this is Chem Dog. I was the guy that started the 1991 Chem Dog seed. And well, first, you gotta spell it the right way if you wanna talk. It's D-O-G. I don't know where everybody gets this D-A-W-G from. I cringe when I see that. I grew up, you know, a normal kid, raced motorcycles, dirt bikes. I was normal, you know, and then I started smoking pot, and I really liked pot. I always would scout out, try to go find a good bag of herb, you know. Went to the dead a few times. And when I would go to the dead, I would go search around for good herb on the lot. And you would find it there because everybody was from different states and all got together and everybody brought their goods there. And all of a sudden these guys walked by and said, kind bud, kind bud. And I said, okay, cool. And I smoked this, and it was the most craziest tasting bud I've ever smoked. Very skunky, sweet, pungenty, fuely, like, you know, like almost like sour, OG, chem all in one. It was the craziest flavor I've ever smoked. But first when I met them, they said some people call it dog bud, some people call it chem weed. What they think to this day, it was sourced out from Northern California, Southern Oregon. Still to this day, we don't know where it came from. Thank God I exchanged phone numbers. We kept in touch. In August, they had gotten me an ounce of the Chem Dog 91 sent to me. I had found 13 seeds, so I decided to start them. I didn't start all of them, I started 4 of them. One was the Chem A, B, C, and D. One was a male I threw out. I wish I had that male to this day. But when I started, you know, growing the bud and giving it to people, I'd go to dead shows and people would come scouting for me and come running at me. And I had to actually limit people because people would, I want it all, I want it all.
I was working as an intern at Wetlands, and you know, he ran up to me and was like, check this shit out. And he pulled out, that was the first time I'd ever seen the Chem 91. Pretty soon I was calling him, like, you know, every week, trying to get as much Chem Dog as possible. 2010, 2009 is when the hype kind of started. It was very underground till then. Before that, it was always on forums, and people just started realizing it was some of the best herb that they'd ever smoked, you know. Chem Dog is more famous now than back in the 90s because you were more underground back in the 90s. You weren't out and about, you weren't on social media. Chem Dog is more famous now than it ever has been within the last 3-4 years, I feel. I'm glad I preserved it, and you know, and still to this day, the original clone cut of the 1991 is still around. I can go out anywhere around here, no one even knows who the hell I am really. I'm just a normal person, and I love that. I don't care about the fame. You know, I have a family, I have a life, I have kids. You know, hashtag family first as far as I'm concerned. I'm glad I did what I did because, you know, there'd be no Chem Dog, no Sour Diesel, straight up. There'd be no Chem Dog and no Sour Diesel if I didn't pop that seed. It's like the pioneer of the beginning of the whole movement of kind bud movement.